So, Rob, if I come to you asking for someone to talk to, can you put me on to someone to talk to? Can you push me over to Greg or Clive? Just kidding. Okay, Gwen has said, any guidance on approaching people at work who are seemingly in need of help but don't recognise it? Where is the boundary?
Where is the boundary? All right.
So you think someone's in trouble and needs help. How do you go about it?
Again, I mentioned before, I've always found authenticity the key. Don't assume just because you're picking up on something that there is a problem, but equally, if you sense something, don't just, I actually have found the authenticity the biggest go here. And this is common language for me. Actually, I was talking with Tanya, my partner today, a friend of ours who just seemed different to usual a couple of days ago. And it was just quietly, you don't do this in front of people, of course. This is where the boundaries come in. You're respectful with people's space, but just quietly pull them aside and say, look, for me, own your words. To me, I just get a sense that you're not your usual self. Because of that, I just wanted to check in. And, where are you right now? There's nothing wrong with that. That's not breaching any boundaries at all. People still have the wherewithal to actually say, no, I'm fine, or well, actually, yes, and so forth. So just authentic language, own your words. I get a sense that something is happening. Can you let me know if I'm off base? And so forth.
Yep.
Just authentic language.
Yep, thanks, Clive. Another one said men's groups are also effective. Now, I actually started a men's group with someone else in Melbourne years ago, and I found it very effective because it was a dad's support group for dads with disabled children, and it was very effective early on until it morphed into the typical Australian pizzas and beer night. And once it got to that point,
sounds pretty good.
Once it got to that point, I was out because it just wasn't doing anything for me, and I just thought I'm here to try and understand where I'm at and what's happening to my life, and you just want to talk about the footy and get pissed. So that wasn't for me at all. So anybody else had any experience with support groups?
Well, I got invited to join in with a men's group here in my local region in Whangaparoa in Auckland. But the invitation began with and bring over your favorite beer, and it was kind of like, okay, so it's I didn't know exactly what it was. I decided not to join it in, but my intention now is to actually create my own men's group here. So I think it's a really valuable thing. It's because it really is. It's like this. This is what a wonderful conversation this is. I've got to say.
I'm enjoying this immensely. I don't know if others are. I hope the audience is.
I gotta say, Jeff and Greg, like when you're talking about, I'm just gonna go in and tell you another bad experience. but I'm
going to give you a referral list later, Rob.
You're right. Like this is honestly what I would have wanted and would have needed and used, and it's like this is the type, like we have rapport, we have common experience, we have all this stuff. And I went to I was referred when I went to the hospital for depression probably about 8 years ago. And I went to a support group, and it was led by two women who were young social workers. And it was me, I was about 23, maybe 24. There was 3 women in their 40s and these 2 women who were leading the class. And we went around the room, and basically the other 3 or 4 people who were there, they couldn't even get out of bed in the morning. That's where their depression was. And I had gone full high achiever mode, and I was running 20 kilometers. I was training probably 2 to 4 hours per day and just drinking basically as much as I could. And I left after about 45 minutes in that meeting, and I was like, I couldn't see myself getting any value from that. Our shared experience was so different that it just was like unbelievable for me to even sit in the room. And that was actually when I went to my psychiatrist the next morning, he was the one who said to me, like, you're not depressed enough, because I said, like, how can these people not get out of bed Like I couldn't understand that, and yet that's where that came from. So they're all, it's just a wonderful story. Like you have to find, you really have to find the people that fit for you. And for me, the person that's really helped with me, like she's another high achiever, and it's really like after the first session with her, it was just like, holy crap, this is the person for me.
Yeah, you go.
Because we're so similar.
I think it's that sense of belonging in a group that's important. So, Greg, I hope you have good success with that. I think
me
it's really
too.
important.
It's
I was looking at a group for this sort of discussion, and it never came. So, and that was what
We
I
can
was
do
craving.
this weekly if you want, Jeff.
yeah.
Well, I think maybe we could do it monthly or something. I don't know, but maybe we should talk
I'd
about
be
that
down
after.
for monthly.
So some other comments. Tom said, I've spoken to Beyond Blue here in Australia a fair few times. I find it easier to chat on a website than in person. And sometimes that's another arm's length thing like we were talking before, I guess. Any comments?
Something that
It
struck
works.
me
Go with it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
something that struck me with that is we're conditioned in terms of social media, right? We jump on, we type away, we talk about things that are going on for us. So that's a really good and easy conduit to get in. But on the same note, I had a contact this morning saying we're still in the middle of this crisis, right with COVID, and there's so many people whose businesses have effectively ended, particularly in my game in the conference and events space. So every bit of my business has disappeared completely. But what we tend to do is we tend to put online our what we want the world to see. We want the world to see we're successful. We want people to see that we're doing well and that everything's going great for us. And when the reality could be completely different. And I know that's not speaking to what we're just talking about here, Jeff, but it was just a comment I wanted to make that it's so much better to be real. What's actually happening for us.
I think I would liken that to the Easter egg model. It's nice and shiny and what you want to see on the outside, but what's on the inside is nothing like it.